You've heard of Jurgen Klopp. You've heard of Pep Guardiola. But one person you may not have heard of is the Tank. A man famed for taking Hallsowing Town all the way to Champions League triumph. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at exactly what made Tank so very special, such a mastermind, by taking a deep dive into his tried and tested favourite formation, the 3-5-2. And don't you ever say that I don't spoil you, because also I'm going to be looking at my favourite players in FC24 and going through some of the magic moments that they have produced. A few of which will be on screen right now. Now, geezers, if you are excited for this first episode in what I want to become a series, make sure that you smash a like right now. And also, comment down below formations and tactics that I should be using along with some of your favourite players. Now, enough chatting. Let's get into this. Right then, let's get right stuck into this formation. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the formation itself. Then I'm going to show you the instructions. And then I'm going to tell you, personally, my favourite player that I've used in every single position. Now, there's going to be a few honourable mentions. I'm going to litter in some of the clips that we've seen from rebuilds and RTGs that we've done. Some of the best goals, etc, etc. Some of the best moments. And I do want this to become a series, so if you disagree, agree, whatever with my formation, please let me know in the comment section below. But I also want to see your teams. I want you to show me the best players you've used, the best formations you've used, and what I'll do, I'll compile them, stick them into a video myself, or I might try those formations out in some of my rebuilds, in some of my RTGs, and then we can have a bit of a deep dive into them. So let's get into this one right here. Now, I use this in my Hallsowing Town career mode, my RTG. If you haven't watched it, what are you doing with your life? Do you know what I mean? Like, what actually are you doing? Because you've missed out on potentially one of the best RTGs of all time. Now, I've got the whole series in a playlist, but I've also compiled it into like a 4-hour bloody movie. Go and have a look if you haven't already. But this is the formation itself, a 3-5-2. A bit sexual, it just works. I'm telling you, it just bloody works. Now, the back three were instrumental in the success that we had. To say that we've got three players and basically those three players were our defensive players is ridiculous. But honestly, you could bet your family dog on these. You could bet your family house on it. I swear to God, I would stick a betting slip on Man United to win the league behind these three. Now, as you can see, the back three here, Kessler Hayden, Branthwaite and Gomez, they're all going to make it into the top 5 of the players that I've used in this formation. But the beauty of this formation is you've got a real strong, stoic centre-back, someone who's bloody massive. And again, Branthwaite is ridiculous. 6'5", 81 pace. The geezer with bloody mustard. But then either side of him, we need someone who's really mobile, kind of nippy. Again, you've got Gomez here. He's not necessarily quicker than Branthwaite himself, but the geezer can move, he's agile, he's quick, he's tackling, he's impeccable. And the other side of him, Kessler Hayden, I've manoeuvred this geezer from a right wing back. I've used him as a right mid before, and I've now manoeuvred him into a centre back, and this is exactly what you need. Someone who's tall, strong, tackling, ridiculous, but also can move. Now, either side of this centre-back, you also need someone who can score goals. Now, again, that sounds a bit strange. You want your centre-back to be scoring goals? Well, yeah, absolutely, because at times I've had Kessler Hayden here. We've also had Reece Oxford, who's on the bench as well, who have been able to pop a shot from ridiculous angles and just bag. And it's exactly the same with Gomez. Unbelievable shot on him, and it's just massively important because at times when we were attacking, and these lads are all pushed all the way up here, and Doki's on the wing here, and we've got our centre attacking midfielder, Sambi and Morton are all in there. What happens is Kessler Hayden will take up a position just about here, just on the halfway line, where we can step into it and just fire one at goal. And oh my God, the goal that Reece Oxford scored in his first appearance for us was just unbelievable. And it's exactly the same. Gomez scored a goal from a corner that was just naughty. And this is exactly what you want. Someone who's just going to be able to step into those sort of areas there, pop off a shot, score goals. But then the three at the back need to be nice and quick because we're playing such a high line. And also, when someone steps out into here and someone steps out into here, we need to be able to have Branthwaite to come across, step into these areas and really mop up. Now, we've had a look at the defensive trio, but now to look at the midfield five. Now, realistically, almost plays like these two are up here because they are most of the time. They're up and down, but they can also get back and provide a little bit of support in there. So, realistically, you want someone, ideally like Doki, yeah, you can see 57 on the defending, but most of the time he's going to be up here, whipping crosses in. So they need to have really good passing stats, really good crossing stats, because they're going to be up here most of the time. Just chalk on the boots, working every single day, sticking IVs on them because they can do an absolute myriad of jobs. Now, you've also got the three in midfield. Now, the three in midfield are very, very important. And one of the most important things is to have a centre attacking midfielder that can also sit back as a centre mid as well. But you've also got these two. You've got the centre defensive midfielders. Now, these defensive midfielders at times will fill in like makeshift centre backs as well. So they're going to sit in just about here. Just both of them getting back in. So when someone like that gets pulled out of position and they're into the left back position, Sambi, Lokonga and Morton, they're just going to sit back and create another back three with Branthwaite in the middle. You almost have a back five because you've got these two that are sitting in. And then Chukwuemeka can sit in here. He can also do a bit of defensive work, but most of the time he's going to be there ready to break, ready to get up and down, feed these two on the wings and get things going. It's honestly the midfield five there, they work amazing. And when you've got two players that can shoot here as well. So look at Tyler Morton shooting. He's at 69. Geezer's never had 69 shooting. His passing is impeccable. His shooting is impeccable. He is the best player I've ever used on any FIFA. Hands down. I know he's 85 rated. I know I've developed him. But I ain't put any training plans on him. I didn't do anything. He just developed this way on his own. And his passing ability, honestly, I just cannot tell you how much I love this geezer. And I'll throw in a couple of clips here just to show you what kind of passes he can produce. But also, can score from deep as well. Champions League final is just an absolute prime example of that. Sambi Lokonga as well. Again, his shooting stats are absolutely shocking. But I just remember that goal against Everton that he scored on that run to winning the Premier League. It was just unbelievable. And the geezer, he could basically do it all. His defending unbelievable. He could carry the ball, and his passing stats were ridiculous as well. And then we've got these two big bad lads up front. Now, you want someone, and it's the Defoe and Crouch whole situation. You want someone who's just going to be big and strong. Alvaro was the perfect person for this. And then you want someone else who's just going to be able to run channels, maybe sit back in here and also pick up stuff from the midfield, but also just get wide, swing crosses in, but also can get in behind as well and get beyond Alvaro for flicks on and stuff like that. So that is the team. That's how we set up, and the reason that I set it up. Like I said, you've got this back three who can just sling balls over from one side to the other, Kessler Hayden, unbelievable at finding Salvio, and Gomez, unbelievable at finding Doki. Just switching sides, and that's what I like to do. Big switch balls, making sure that we can attack from the other side, isolate them full-backs, and get these lads bombing on every single time. Other players who can do exactly the same thing, say if Tyler Morton picks the ball up here, his diagonal ball is just going to be on the money every single time, and it's just going to create those opportunities for Alvaro, Salvio to be attacking on that defence and also, again, creating those one-on-ones, and that's exactly what you want in this kind of situation. Sambi wasn't necessarily as good as Tyler Morton, but could still bang balls left, right and centre, score goals, but also produce some unbelievable passes. And then you've got these two up front, big strong lad, and then you've got someone like this who can feed the geezer. I remember Alfie Devine, God bless him. He weren't as good as I was hoping, but he was exactly the right player that we needed. Someone who could play that attacking midfield role, but also shoot as well. So there's your team, there's your formation. Now let's have a look at the instructions. So with the back three, I didn't change much. Well, I didn't actually change anything. Making sure that they stay back while attacking, normal interceptions and sticking to position. And that was everyone. I just wanted these three to be the majority of the time defenders. That was the most important thing for me. Get these geezers defended. Now, if you come back on this side here, I've got basic defence support because I want Doki and Savio on those wide areas to make sure that they're coming back on defence and they're just providing a little bit of cover defensively. Now, most of the time, obviously, it's going to be Kessler, Hayden and Gomez going out into that right back and that left back positioning. But also, we've got these wingers being able to come back. So if our opposition fullbacks do come back with us, then we can make sure that we're marking them as well and we're tracking them. But if not, we've got these two geezers in the midfield here that are going to sit back into that centre-back role as well. So again, stay back while attacking, stay back while attacking. But again, you lot, if you've seen the How's in Town career mode, you will know that Tyler Morton did not stay back while attacking. The geezer did get forward, but a lot of the time I want them to be back into the centre-back position, creating cover for Gomez and Kessler Hayden to go out on the wide areas. Carney Chukwuemeka telling him to get forward, aggressive with interceptions, and also telling him to free roam as well. I want that centre mid to be almost a centre attacking midfielder, but also making sure that they do get back. So I know I've told him to get forward, but also he will come back because he's aggressive with interceptions. He wants to nick the ball back. He wants to get the ball under control. And also, when we are under the cosh, he will sit back with Tyler Morton and Sambi Lokonga and just make sure that we're not conceding goals. Savio on the other side, exactly the same as Doki, making sure that they're staying wide, staying on the edge of the box for crosses as well. We don't want them necessarily in the box, getting on the end of crosses and things like that, because we want them to stay wide. And there's a perfect example when Doki scored that thunderous volley in the Champions League final. Absolutely incredible. And then the two big bad lads up front. Now, again, I didn't really change much with these guys. Balance width. I want him to get wide, but I don't want him to be constantly wide. I don't want him to drift wide, but I don't want him to stay central either. Mixed attack, I want him to be in and around. I want him to be trying different things. I want him to be getting wide a little bit, but also I want him to drop in when he needs to, pick the ball up. And again, a perfect example of this is when he scored that unbelievable last-minute winner against Chelsea to win the league title. And then we've got Martins as well. And again, doesn't necessarily fit with the style of play that we've got. But I like this guy to be a false nine. Now, if you are a little bit more attacking, tell him to get in behind, especially Martins. His stats work so well with him getting in behind. But also, if you've got a Velasco or a Marlon or a Diaby, you might want them to pick the ball up deep and get running at players and make the defenders make a decision. Do they come out to him and then you can stick balls over the top to Alvaro, or do they stand off you, let you have a shot and see if you can score from distance? So that is my formation. You'll have seen me play before. Again, perfect example of my playing style is that How's in Town career mode. But this is the formation that I used, and also the instructions that I used. But I know this is what you've been waiting for. Who are my favourite players in these positions as well? So we're going to start with our goalkeeper. Now, goalkeeper-wise, I've enjoyed playing with all the goalkeepers, but there's three that stand out specifically. Now, first of all, the first goalkeeper that I'm going to talk about is one that I've used most recently. It's going to be Jose Sarr, Wolverhampton Wanderers goalkeeper, but we've had him at Porto. He's playing for us with the deadly duo at the minute, and he's just a big, strong, imposing goalkeeper can always save things. His handling is unbelievable, but his reactions as well are just out of this world. Second goalkeeper I'm going to talk about is Castells. So Castells played for us when we did the Ajax rebuild. And again, another big, strong goalkeeper. Could always count on him to come and collect crosses. But his reactions were unbelievable. And because he was so big, barely anything got by him. But the last one that I'm going to talk about, and I know people are going to be waiting for this, it's a strange one. It's Angus Gunn, the Scottish goalkeeper who we had in the Birmingham City rebuild. We ended up replacing him for Van der Voort, but I regretted it. I regretted it the whole time. Angus Gunn, another big, strong, imposing goalkeeper, but grew impressively. And I'm telling you, straight away, as soon as he came in, I knew he was going to be someone special. I knew he was going to be someone that we can count on. So I'm going for Angus Gunn as my favourite goalkeeper I've used so far in FC24. Now, we'll go over to this right back position. Now, there's a couple players in this position that I've really enjoyed using. Konsa, and I'm not going to do this Villa bias too much. There is a few Villa players in there, but again, I've played with Villa quite a lot. I'm a Villa fan, do you know what I mean? So I have to go with some Villa players. So Konsa's the first one on the right back spot here. Now, again, shooting stats aren't the best, but realistically, Reece Oxford didn't have the best shooting stats and still produced one of the best goals I've ever scored in FC24 so far. Another two that we used in the Nottingham Forest rebuild, and we used one of these players as more of a right back. It was Dello. Now, Dello is a real good all-round player, and I think he would be absolutely fantastic in this position because his ability to score bangers is unparalleled. For a right back to score goals like he does, it's illegal. He was a fantastic player, but also Florentino as well scored another one of the best goals that I've ever seen. But for the difference between Dello and Florentino is Florentino was a little bit more defensive minded, and his passing stats were very, very impressive. Even though he might not be better in terms of numbers, he was definitely better in terms of gameplay. But the player that we're going to be going with is the geezer that I've been talking about already. It's Kessler Hayden. This guy could play all over the bloody pitch. Look at that. He's only -3, -8 if you stick him up front. I've seen -15, -20s before. But this guy could play anywhere. But I loved him in this position. He was unbelievable. His pace, 88. He could just bomb on. He was a really good overlapping centre-back. His tackling, just unparalleled. He's the best defensive player that I've played with so far, I believe, in this game. Now we're going to go over to centre-back position here. Now, honourable mentions again. We've got Harry Maguire is a really interesting one. Played with him in the first couple of seasons at Blues. He was really, really good. Passing ability, amazing. Amazing in the air from corners and goal kicks and things like that. He was just class. But kind of speed-wise, the geezer was shocking. And did make some mistakes and did give away. I can remember there was quite an important penalty that he gave away as well. So not great. Another one that we're going to talk about again in the Birmingham City rebuild was Lukeba. Lukeba is a very strong, able centre-back, really quick as well, and fantastic in this position because he's quick, he's strong, he can recover. So if you are playing a really high line, which this team does tend to, like Branthwaite, he can get back. But again, how's our in town bias? Probably it's going to be Branthwaite. Branthwaite was just one of these players. As soon as he came in, I started off playing him over here, and he was just amazing at this kind of left back kind of situation where he could start in these positions. And I think at one point he even put in a cross for a goal. He was just incredible. So I'm going to go with him. He's 6'5", brick shithouse, just incredible, great player. Then at the left back spot, or the left centre back spot, should I say, is Gomez is going to be an honourable mention. Now, I know that's going to be potentially controversial because he was such an amazing player for us. I loved him. He was probably, for me, a bit better in that kind of area, but Savio was just way better in terms of attacking. He just felt a lot better, and I know his stats don't really show it, but he was so good. But he could also play in that area as well. He played in Sambi Lokonga's position a couple of times and really played well. So because of the fact that he's such a kind of a player who could play in a lot of positions, I'm going to go with he's an honourable mention. Now, two players who I really enjoyed, and one of them is on the bench right now, and I probably could put him in that position, but I am going to stick him in this position because we had Florentino and Delo on the other side. Reece Oxford scored the best goal I've scored in FC24, hands down, and it was on his debut, and the geezer's got 28 shooting. He was just incredible, and he was so good in that position because of his passing stats as well. And look, his passing stats are 52, but he was just able to produce some magic at times, I tell you. But the player who I'm going to go with, and again, sorry, might be a little bit of Villa bias, but he's going to be Torres. Pau Torres is just incredible in that position because passing stats, incredible. He's strong, he's quick, and he can tackle. Yeah, his shooting stats might not be the best, but all you need to do is just swing a foot at it every now and again. Like I said, Reece Oxford scored one of the best goals I've ever seen, so it doesn't matter too much. So there are my defenders and my goalkeeper. Now we go into these midfield positions. We're going to try the midfield three to start with. So we'll look at this left centre mid position first of all. Now, I'm actually going to put in one of our players as an honourable mention right here as well. It's going to be Sambi Lokonga. He was, again, I've waxed lyrical about him already. He's just great. He's very, very similar to Tyler Morton on the other side, just not as good, but he's still a really solid option. Another player that we could play here that we played with in the Nottingham Forest rebuild is going to be Sangare. That man is the strongest player I've played with so far, hands down. The man could win a tackle that was about 25 yards away from him. His slide tackles were impeccable. He was strong in the standing tackles, and also, again, he could swing a foot at it. He was just class. But let's just swap him over and just look at him. Just look at him, drink it in. Big Skip. He is the best player I've ever played with. He's hands down. His shooting stats, I can't believe. I need to have a look at his long shots. 72, that makes sense. Shot power, 77. I think we're underestimating this geezer here because he was amazing. Everything was just good about him. You can see the only kind of orange stat there is his long shots or his shooting. He still deserves way better. What's his finishing line? 63. That's probably where it's bringing him down. But his passing ability, incredible. His defending was incredible. And I could tell in the first game for Halzo in town, I think it was in League 1 or maybe in the Championship, he made a run and scored a header in the first couple of minutes of his first game, and I just fell in love with him. And from then, best player ever. We're going to look at this right centre mid position now. A couple of honourable mentions. Again, another Villa bias. He's going to be Dougie Luiz, someone who's really strong in the tackle. Passing stats ridiculous, but also can score from distance as well. And again, you've probably seen a load of stats already, especially in the sliders videos. I know I've put in a few of his shots in the sliders videos. But he's just great player to play with, and I love him in real life as well. The second player who's going to be honourable mention is going to be Dominguez. Now, we only played with him 2 or 3 seasons in the Nottingham Forest rebuild, but he was another one, just dynamic, could get up and down, constantly working hard, and scored some really good goals. I think he scored 2 goals at the end of the season against Luton, one of the seasons, and the goals were just brilliant. It was just pure hard work, pure tenacity. He was a great player. But the player who I'm going to put in this position is going to be Rodrigo Bentancur. In the Ajax rebuild, absolutely unparalleled. Big, strong, could move as well for a big lad. His passing was ridiculous, but some of the goals he scored, some of the bangers, and I remember there was one, I think it was either against Sporting. I think it was against Sporting, and he swung a ball into the top bins from just a ridiculous angle, and the swerve on it, the shape on it, I tell you what, I thought I was looking at Jennifer Lawrence. Now, this attacking midfield spot, is going to be an interesting one because there's two players who are quite low rated at the start of this game. Now, one of them is going to be Youssef Demir. This guy right here, absolutely incredible. I've played him on the left wing, I've played him on the right wing, played him in this centre attacking midfield role, and he's just great everywhere. He scored some really important goals and some fantastic goals for Houseau in Town. And like I said, the importance of some of those goals were just ridiculous. Second player I'm going to talk about is going to be a really, really low rated player, but again from the Birmingham City rebuild. It's going to be George Hall. Scored another unbelievable goal for us, and I know I'm not just picking these on unbelievable goals, but his ability in the third, fourth season, he just rocketed past Job Bellingham, and he was meant to be my player that I was focusing on. But George Hall just outshone him completely, and in the end started playing games ahead of Job Bellingham. But the best player in this position, and I've already mentioned one Bellingham, but it's going to be the other. It's going to be Jude Bellingham. I know he's like 87 rated at the start. He ends up being 95 rated, but he's so worth it. I've played with some like 90 rated players before, and they just ain't been that good. They haven't performed in the way that I've expected them to perform. But Jude Bellingham basically scored in every single game. He could score free kicks, he could score headers, he could score acrobatic efforts, he could score long kind of runs and kind of beating players for pace and everything. He could do it all. He was great. He was an unbelievable player, and even as a Villa fan, I've got to say, Jude Bellingham at the minute is probably one of the best players in the world. So yeah, definitely going in this team. Now, we'll go over to the left mid spot here. Now, again, someone who needs to defend a little bit, but also someone needs to attack as well. So, two honourable mentions is going to be, first of all, Noah Lang. He has been one of my favourite players in the last 3 FIFAs, I think. I remember in the last FIFA, he was just incredible when we had him at Inter Milan, but we also had him at Ajax as well. And he's just got something about him. I don't know what it specifically is. He's not massively quick. He's not unbelievable with his shooting, but he's just great at everything. He just seems to be someone who just can perform day in, day out, never gives below a 7 out of 10 performance. So he's definitely in there. Another one is going to be Pedro Neto, someone who's having a really good season in real life. Not necessarily that highly rated, but again, pace, unbelievable. His shooting stats are ridiculous, and he's able to cross as well. So he's someone who can really work those channels, really work that left-hand side. He was just a great player. But how could I not? How could I not give it to Savio? Savio only played with Houseau in Town 1 year. Again, scored some absolute bangers. Unbelievable performance in the Champions League final. He's just someone who can make a difference. 9-1 pace, 75 shooting. He's crossing, passing. He's at 82. He's someone who can switch play as well. So we can basically play a 1-2 with him and Doki. He's just incredible. He's just a great player to play with. So yes, Savio in the team. Now on this right hand side, there is two that I can't even pick between. Now, one of them is this man right here, Doki. I think we picked him up in League One. We picked him up on a free, and he's probably the best signing that I've ever made. 96 pace, 78 shooting, 81 passing, and 88 dribbling. Again, if you get him one-on-one with anyone, he's beating him. He's just incredible. And the goal, the performance in the Champions League final just speaks for himself. But another one, and like I said, I can't pick between these two geezers. He's going to be Rafinha. We played with him in the Ajax rebuild. Unbelievable player. Again, scored some absolutely unreal goals, but was a real game changer. Every single time that he weren't on the pitch, we knew he weren't on the pitch. Being able to cut in on his left foot as well. I'm not particularly one to like to cut in with these wingers, but he just made me want to. Every single time I got the ball, and I think even on his debut, picks the ball up on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side here, drives in, and from about here, just bent one in the top corner. He was just incredible. Match winner in his own right. So again, how could I not? How could I choose between these two? I just couldn't. I couldn't choose between them. So that's our midfield 5 then. So we've only got our up front 2. So we'll start with This player here who sits back sometimes, can be a false nine, can get in behind, someone who's more mobile, who's quicker, things like that. So my first honourable mention is going to be Alan Velasco. Played on the right hand side, was more of a winger for the Birmingham City rebuild, but also scored goals for fun. I remember there was a goal that he scored in the Champions League. It was like a half volley. Jesus Christ, just absolute beautiful. Other honourable mention is going to be Daniel Marlon. Scored some absolutely crazy goals, but was just someone who could pick the ball up from here and you just know he was going to score. He was just going to run the whole length of the pitch, stick it into the back of the net. And he was one of the reasons that that Ajax side that we built was just so successful. Great player. Unbelievable. Definitely sign him again. But if you know, you know. And if you are in the know, you'll understand why I'm putting this man into this team. The geezer that I called a drug lord. It's going to be Angel Correa. Now again, Halzo in town career mode. This lad came in for next to nothing. And I only bought him because I thought maybe we're going to need a little bit of a rotation option. Maybe if someone gets injured by the end of that season. And I think he only spent 2 seasons with us. By the end of that season, he was just banging them in for fun. He scored the winning goal to send us through to the Europa League final. He was just cash money. And again, I'll have put all the goals that I could find into this video here. But honestly, if you get a chance to play with this lad, or you just need a random rotation option to sit in this kind of area of the pitch, god damn, go and pick this man up straight away. Now, on this right hand side and this left hand side, sorry, this is more of a less mobile striker. Still someone who can kind of get in behind and beat defenders for pace. But he's someone who I want to be nice and strong, can hold up play and also score headers. So my first honourable mention, and this is going to be quite surprising actually, because I'm not exactly a major fan of this geezer. I'm more of a Messi geezer myself. But it's going to be CR7. It's Cristiano Ronaldo for us in that Nottingham Forest rebuild was unbelievable. Scored 2 fantastic goals against Liverpool and 1 goal against Villa that I tell you what was just, again, another one of the best goals I've ever scored. So Cristiano Ronaldo goes in there, take him out from the wings. He's starting to lose a bit of his pace, but he could definitely do a job up front. Now, this is another hard one because this is another position where I can't pick a winner. There's 2 players in this position who I have absolutely loved with all of my heart. Now, first of all, is going to be the geezer that's on the screen right now, Alvaro. How could I not love this guy? Like I said before, his strength, his power, his pace, everything was just incredible. Pace, 93, 84 shooting. But it just goes even beyond his stats because there was that performance where he scored the hat-trick against Southampton where he just showed me that he could score every single type of goal, and it was definitely someone who I needed to keep in the team all the way through. We let him go, he threw his teddies out the pram at one point and he left the club, but we bought him back and he just got better and better and better from then on. But the second player, now this is going to be quite controversial because he's not someone who's really playing in real life. I picked him up just because he was Portuguese and we were doing a Portuguese rebuild. But Beto. Now, yeah, I did just say Beto. Plays for Everton, that Beto. But the guy scored every single game I played with him. And he was typical. Exactly what I said I wanted. Someone who was quick. Ticks the box. Is he strong? Ticks the box. Can he score goals? Ticks the box. Can he score them on the deck? Can he be put through one-on-one? Can he score a header? Can he create something out of nothing like he did in the Champions League when he scored that goal against Marseille? Chest touch, flick round the corner, bangs it top binzer. The man could score every type of goal. And I will hold my hands up and say I didn't expect anything from him. He was just a stopgap, someone who I could bring in and see how he did. And I just fell in love with him. He's definitely someone I'm going to be picking up again at some point in the future. But honestly, if you haven't used him, I'm telling you right now, go out and get him. He's 100% worth it. But, geezers, that is it. That is my formation. That is my instructions. That's my custom tactics that I use for this team. Now, please, I beg ya, go and use those players. My favourite players, but they could play in most positions. They're really versatile, but they really work well in this formation right here. Absolutely incredible. If you've not used them before, go out, get them right now. But that is it, my geezers. I know it's been a slightly different video. Please tell me in the comment section below if you enjoyed this one, and also smash a like if you enjoyed this one. It helps me out. Honestly, you can see the correlation with more likes and more views. I just want to get my videos out there. I want everyone to see them. But that is it, geezers. That's the video. Thanks very much for watching. Drop a like, get comments in. I will see you very soon for another video. It's much love from me. I'll see you very soon. Peace.